Hello. So this video is definitely going to be a bit longer than typical because, at least as of recording this, they just on the Cracking the Cryptic Discord, they just released the most recent generally approachable Sudoku leak, number 37, and I figured I would just film myself going through all the bonus puzzles they added. However, due to how many videos I currently have pre-recorded, this will probably be a week or two later, which I think is somewhat a good thing because I'd rather not post a video just giving solutions to a bunch of these, like right after they come out. I don't have enough viewer traffic to really be concerned about that, but better safe than sorry. If anyone happens across my video, they're not going to end up risking not having had a chance to solve these themselves. That being said, if you want to solve these yourselves instead, I'll have links to all of them provided. Otherwise, you can just go to the Cracking the Cryptic Discord, and I'll have a link to their YouTube channel. You can find the link to Discord from pretty much any of their videos, I believe. But yeah, with that said, I guess I'll just get started on the first one here. So for this one, let's see. We have X sum clues and zipper cells, and I think that's it. Okay, so immediately right off the bat, that's a 9, because 45 can only be 9. This one here needs to be missing 9, which you can add up 3 numbers, 2 numbers, or 1 number to make 9, so this is 6, 7, or 8. For 9s, they're either 2 or 3 every time, because if it's 2, it's going to be 2 and 7. If it's 3, then it's going to be 2, 4, or 1, 5, which if this one was a 3, it would have to be 1, 4. So actually I'm going to mark the potentials for these because they have zipper lines, which should make them a bit easier. If this is a 2, then this has to be a 7. Same thing for this one. If this one's a 3, these two can't be 2 and 4 because then I would have no digits left there, so it has to be 5 and 1. And since the central digit has to be the sum of these two digits, it must be 1 and 5 this way, which would make this a 4 in that case. In the case where it's a 2, then this is a 7, which would have to sum to either 1 or 2 to make 8 or 9, because those are the only two digits larger, but 2's already used, so it would have to be a 1, and this would have to be an 8. In the case where this is a... Actually, 5 just won't work here at all, right? Because I'd need a 2, 3 here and a 2, 3 here, and that would break this one. So I know this is 8, which means this is 7, and this is 1, and this is 2, which gives me a 3 here. I can scrap that. And over here I need a 6. Now I'm going to need 4, 5, and 9 for these 3. And since this is 3, this is either going to be 2 and 4, which is clearly impossible since I need a second 2 here, or it has to be 1 and 5 in this case. And I'm going to get a 4 here and a 2 there then. And these two cells are also going to be 6, 7, or 8. In fact, I can't have 8 here because then I need to have 9 here, and there's already a 9 there, so this is 6 or 7. This one here is 7 or 8. And that makes this one 1 or 2. Additionally, I have a 6, 7, 8 triple here, but I actually don't think that's helpful enough right now, so I'm going to not think about that all that much. This 24 here needs to have a minimum of 4 numbers, because with 3, your first one would be a 3, so the other two would have to add up to 21, which is impossible. And it's a maximum of 6, because if it was a 7, you would need to have these 7 numbers up to at least 28, which clearly won't work. This 6 might actually also be impossible, purely because there's a 2 up here. So if these added up to 24, this would make it 26, and then I would need 19 left in these two cells, which is impossible, so this is either 4 or 5. It could be 5 because 24 is a multiple of 3. So in the zipper line, these 5 cells are going to be a multiple of 3 since these two sum up to a number, these two sum up to the same number, and this is that number. So if these summed up to 8, which could be 5, 3, some pair of 1 and 7 and 8, that is a possibility. And if these add up to 4, then this group of cells here, this cell needs to just be a multiple of 3, which could be 3 or 6 or 9. That would be the other possibility, and if this is a 5, this is just a 3 anyways. So if this is a 4, then these 3 add up to 20, plus this one makes 24. And let's see, I couldn't have a 9 here because 4 plus 9 is already larger than 9, and that's the maximum this could be. Actually, the maximum this could be is 8, which means the 4 plus 6 also breaks. So no matter what, it's a 3. That means this one here is a 7 or an 8, depending on whether this x sum goes through here or through here. If this is a 7, it has to be 1, 6, because 3 is going to be used and 2 is already, or because 2 and 3 are already here. And if it's a 8, it has to be 1 and 7 for the exact same reason. So I get that, and 1 is always required. Also, 7 is always going to be in the column. It's either going to be here, or if this is 8, then these two have to sum up to 7. Or one of these two has to be a 7. Over here, actually this has been a 5 for a while. Let's see. This 30 here is the only one of these I haven't looked at yet. The minimum for 30 is going to be 5, because with 4 you would need 3 cells adding up to 26 for the other 3, and that's impossible, because the largest 3 cells could add up to in a row is 24, 9 plus 7 plus 8. So this has to be a minimum of 5, but 5 is already here, so it's going to be 6. It can't be 7 or 8, so it's either 6 or 9, but obviously 9 is always going to be 45, so it must be 6, which is going to tell me I have a 1, 7 pair, an 8 here, and a 5 here. Yeah, okay. So, I'm just going to do a quick scan. Yeah, okay, these add up to 24, so I am completely fine. I think the 4 case might have broken for unrelated reasons, with the fact that these digits simply weren't going to be large enough with a 7 here, because then these would add up to 14, but that's besides the point. Either way, this is going to be a 4 and this is a 9, because this was a 4-9 pair and there's a 4 over there. Over here I have a 1, 3, 5, 9 quadruple with some cells already known. This can't be 9 and this can't be 3. If this is 3, then this is either 2 or 6, so it would be 6, which implies, or no, it would be 2 because 6 is already here, which means one of these two. Actually, I already knew one of them was a 5, so I guess I didn't need that to get there. And if this is a 5, this has to be a 4 to make 9, but that breaks, so I'm going to get this, which means I'm going to get that pair there. Okay. I guess I'll go on and do this quadruple the same kind of way. This is 2, 6, 7, 8, with 2's not here and 6 is not here. This can't be a 2, and this can't be a 6. Oh, no, it can't be a 6, it can't be an 8. And this one just has to be a 2. If this is 6, this can be 7 or 8, so this is 1 or 2 in that case, but 2 is already here, so this is a 1, which means one of these two has to be a 7, and that's a 6 or an 8. Okay, over here I have a 7, 8, 9 triple, because 6 is already seen here, and 9 has to be in one of these two. And then down here I need 3, 4, 7, 8, with 3 and 4 both in this row. Okay. One of these two actually needed to be a 6 for a while, so that's a 7 or an 8. Okay, I guess I can now determine what these cells could be, because either these two have to add up to 9, in which case this is a 4, or these 3 have to add up to 9, in which case this is a 1 and a 3, because 3 was here, so this had to be a 1. So I'm going to remove that pencil marking. I will mark the 3 as potential there. I don't want to just leave it sitting there. Well, I guess I'll do that, and I'll be able to figure it out. If this is 6, then this is going to have a 1 somewhere in it, so this has to be a 2, which would make this an 8, and if it's a 7, this is obviously 8, so I'm going to get that solved, and I get a 6 here, a 7 and an 8 there, then I can remove some pencil marking that is no longer necessary. And I now have a 1 in one of these two, but it can't be this one because no two numbers can sum up to 1, since 1 is the smallest number in a Sudoku. That means I now have a 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and I can't have 5 there. This is going to be 2 or 3 since 4 can't sum with another number to make 8, so that makes this a 5 or a 6, but 5 is seen up here, so this is a 6 and a 2, here's a 7 and a 6. I can eliminate those, I can eliminate a 3 from here, get a 1 there and a 4 here, and let's see. If this is a 3, this has to be a 1 or a 2 to make 4 or 5. It can't be 1, so it would have to be 2. And if this is 4, this would need to be a 1, which is impossible. So this is a 2, a 3, and a 5, and a 4 up there. And I can get that pair in box 3 solved. Over here, I now have a 5, 6 pair. And then over here is a 3, 7, 9 triple. I can eliminate those two numbers. This is going to be a, let's see, 3, 9 pair, not solvable currently. Additionally, let's see. Okay. I need to have a 1 in one of these two, a 2 in one of these two, just from columns in this one row over here. One of these 3 is a 6. Okay. Central digit here is a minimum of 5. So it's 5, 7, 8, or 9. I'm going to remove that actually because I don't think that's the place I should be looking next. Okay, I have one of these 3 is a 1, and these in this box I have 4, 7, 8, 9 as possible. I know one of these is a 4. I know then this is 1, 7, 8, 9, so this one here is 1 or 8. Actually, 8 is also restricted in here. I missed that up there, which makes this a 1, 7, 9 triple, but I can't have 9 here, and I can't have 7 here, so this is 1. That gives me a 7 and a 1 here. Which is going to give me a 1 here. I can eliminate that. And I can solve box 1 as well. Now, I need to have a 2 in one of these two spots. It can't be here, because I would need another 1 there, so this is a 2, this is a 3, and here I have a 9. That leaves me with 6 and 9 for these two. This is 9, this is a 6, so this has to be a 5. That's going to solve that. And I can eliminate that. I now need 3, 5, and 7 to be the remaining ones in this box. I can eliminate a 5 there. I then need a 2 up here and an 8 here. I can solve the 2 over here. I need a 4, a 7, and a 6 in this column. And, okay. I need 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, or, well, this row is 3, 4, 7, 9, with this being 3, 4, 7. Actually, scratch that. I think the middle is going to be the most useful thing. This can either now be 7 or 9, because it has to be greater than 4, since 2 and 3 are both seeing this square, so the minimum this one could be is 4, which would mean this would have to be a minimum of 5. Both 5 and 6 and 8 see this, so this has to be 7 or 9, which makes this 6 or 8, but 8 is here, so this is 6, and that is 7. And this might be the final thing I needed to solve the remainder of the puzzle, actually. It's looking probable that it was actually enough to solve this one. 8 here, 9 and 8 there, 9 down here, 5 and 3, and that is the first puzzle done, so I will move on to the next one now. Okay, it's just clones, it looks like, and with cages, okay. So, this has to be a 1, 2, 3, which makes this a 1, 2, 3. 20 has to have, in a 3-cell 20, the minimum you can possibly have is 3, because then the other two are just 8 and 9 to make 17. And this has to be a 7, 8, 9 triple, which is actually, I could solve for the 7 there. And this then has to be a 7, this is another 8, 9. So 8, 9 plus 1 or 2, if this is an 8, then this has to be a 1 because a 2 would force a 2 here, so this would be a 3. And if this is a 9, then it's going to break because I need a 1. No matter which one I have here, this one also needs to be 1 or 2, and that's going to break with the 1, 2 column there, so I can actually solve for pretty much everything in this first cage. And I know there needs to be a 1 in the 8, just because for an 8, it's either going to be 1, 2, 5, or 1, 3, 4. And that means this one has to be 2 or 3, because 2 and 3 both C here. And actually 3 sees this one, so it must be 2, which makes this a 1, 5 pair. And for this 15 down here, I need to have 2 cells that add up to 18. Or no, 13. There are 3 possibilities for this. 4, 9, which is possible. 5, 8, which is not possible. And 6, 7, which is not possible. Additionally, 9 sees this square, so it must be a 4, and that must be a 9. And, okay, one of these two is a 1, just from this row and this. In this column, one of these two is a 3. Okay. I guess I'll go on to actually solving this 20. This needs to be 11, which can't be 2, 9 because of the 9 here and 2 here. Can't be 3, 8 because of this. So it either is 4, 7 or 5, 6. So I'm going to get, actually, 4 and 7 both see this square, so it's going to just be 5, 6. And I don't have a way to determine which it is yet. Okay. So for this last cell here, there are going to be 3 possibilities it could be. First, if neither of these are a 5, then this is going to be a 6 plus 1, which would require another 6, and that breaks. So one of these two is a 5. If this one is a 5, then this is a 1, and this is a 7. And if this is a 5, then this is a 6, and this is a 2, but 2 sees both of these, so that's impossible, which means I get a 7 here, a 5 here, and a 1 here. And that's going to be enough to solve the second clone. So now this is just a standard Sudoku again. I have a 4, 6, 9 triple in this row. That one should have a 9 in it. And there we go. There's going to be a 2 in this square because of all 4 of those, which also lets me solve the 1. I have a 3, 4, 6 triple in this box. 3 and 6 both solve that square, which let me solve the triple. Okay. Down, well, there's 3 seeing all of those squares from these two, so I can get a 3 here. 1 is in one of these two. I need still 4, 8, and 9. Okay, well, 1 has to be here because 4, 8, and 9 all see that. Makes this an 8, 9 pair, and this is going to be a 4, 8, 9 triple. And in this row, I have a 4, 6, 9 triple. This one has to be a 6, and this can be a 4 or a 9. Okay. 4 sees this column, which means one of these 3 is a 4. Additionally, 1 has to be in one of these 2. And in this box, it has to be in one of those 3. It has to be one of these 2 over here. This is a 2, 5 pair, which is not solvable yet. Okay. Over here, this row here is going to be a 4, 6, 7, 8 quadruple, which I have 4, 6, 7 here, and 4, 6, 7 here, and 4, 7, 8 here, and 6, 7, 8 here, because there's a 4, 9 pair here, so there can't be a 4 there. One of these 2 is a 3. One of these 3 is a 3. This has actually been solvable for a long time now, I think. That's a 6. This is a 6 then. And that's going to give me a 6 here and a 3 here, which is going to give me a 3 here and a 1 here. And that's also going to give me a 3 over here, which, yeah, that's the last 3 in the puzzle. This is going to be a just a 7, because 4, 8, and 9 all see this square, which is going to solve box 3 over here. And it's going to give me that. And this is now just a 6, 7 pair, and this top is a 5, 8, 9 triple, which I can solve. Now then I need a 4, 8 pair here, which I can solve that. That's going to solve both of those. Additionally, this is a 2, 5, 7 triple here, but 7 sees this one, so it's a 2, 5 pair with a 7 here. I need 2, 5, and 6 in this box. This is a 2, 6, this is a 2, 5, or a 6. And let's see, I need a 2, 4, 6, 7, so 2, 4, and 7 in these cells. Additionally, this is just a 5, 7, 8 triple with the 5 and 8 and 7 all solvable. Okay, I need a 1, 2, 4, 5 quadruple in this row. This one here is 1, 2, or 5. This one here is also just 1 or 2 actually, because there's a 5 in that column and a 5 there. And that means this is a 4, and a 7, and a 6, and a 7, and this is going to solve a very significant portion of the puzzle. Actually, it's just the final thing needed to solve this puzzle. And that's the second one done, so let's move on to the third one. Okay. Digits along the line have values in between the two numbers. Do not include circles in the sum. Okay, I see. So essentially, actually this is very convenient. These two are going to be the same number, either 7 or 8, because the sum excluding circles of this line has to be the same in every box, which means these two have to be the same. There's a 7 here, so both of these are 8s. I'm going to have an 8 in one of these three, but not this one because it's not between 1 and 6. These three add up to 9, and every single cell has to be a number between 2 and 6, or between 2 and 5 inclusive. The only way to make 9 with 2 of those is going to be 4, 5, so each of those is a 4, 5 pair. Over here, I need numbers between 1 and 7 exclusive, and I can't have 4 or 5, so it needs to be 2, 3, or 6. Over here, these three are all going to be the same number, which I'm just going to mark in red because there's too many possibilities, really, for me to discount them. Yeah, only 4 and 3 and 7 are eliminated, so actually that's 3. I take it back. I don't need that then. This is either 2, 5, or 6, and it can't be 5 because then it would see both of those and make them both 4, so it's either 2 or 6. Okay. I need to have an 8 in one of these two. There's a 7 in one of these. There's a 7 in one of those. Additionally, these have to be... So this one here is 2, 5, or 6. And this one here is either 3, 4, 5, or 6. And this has to be a number that is large enough to be at least the minimum sum between these, and the minimum sum is going to be 5 with 2 plus 3, so this is either a 5 or a 6, and that means I can't have 6s in either of these, or 5s in either of these, so this is a 2 here, and this is either a 3 or a 4, and that's a 5, so that makes this a 3, and that means these two also have to sum up to 5, which makes them a 2, 3 pair as well. And actually, is this sum going to be the same as these ones? That might be something. The digits along each line have values that sum up to the same thing, so yes, it is. Which means this is a 2 and this is a 3. And, okay. That means I can actually determine that all of these sum up to 9? Is that possible, actually? No, it's not flawed logic, I guess. Does it just say digits along each line have values, and the digits also for each line, the sum of the digits along the line is equal if in each region it passes through. Do not include circles in the sum. Okay. Oh! Okay, I've made a serious mistake. So I'm gonna have to undo a lot of the puzzle. Especially this part here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to eliminate... Actually, to be honest, I'm just going to reset because all of my logic except for the 8s here was wrong. The reason for this is because this sum is not the entirety of the sum in these areas, because these two cells are also included. And they have to be a minimum of 5 and 6, which means it's a minimum sum of 20? That feels also very wrong. Okay, I'm going to have to recheck the rules again. For each line, the sum of the digits along the line is equal if in each region it passes through. Do not include circles for the sum. For instance, row 2, column 6 plus row 3, column 5 equals row 4, column 4. So my logic was actually right. Which means I don't think I can... Oh, I can undo back. Great. So I'm just going to undo through here. because my logic was apparently right actually. It's different between each pair of sums, which means that this one here is not necessarily a 5, but these ones still are a 5, so I'm just going to quickly redo that part. And we're back here, and now I actually hopefully understand the rules, so I shouldn't have any issues with that. I have a feeling that this group here, actually, well, minimum sum is now a 6, so it has to be 6 because 2, 4 is the minimum pairing. And over here, then I also need 2, 4, and that's going to give me that. And okay, one here because these three are all seen by these two, so this is a 1. And then I have a 5 here and a 6 here, and this one's a 7, this is a 9 and an 8. I have a 5, 7 pair that can be solved in that column. I have 3 here and a 5 here, and then I need to have an 8 and a 9 in this column still, and this is going to just be a 4. Additionally, this is going to be a 5, and this one here is a 7. Then I have 4 and 9 as the remaining cells in that row. This could be, well, it has to be 2 and 3 now because 4 and 5 are already used. Over here I have 4, 8, 9, which I can solve, that triple. One of these two is a 1. This one here has to be a 7 or a 9, which both options are viable. This one here is an 8 or a 7, this one here is a 1 or an 8, and this one here is a 1, 7, or 9. Okay. And this, let's see. This column over here, I need to have 1, 5, and 7. So this one here is either 1 or 7. This one here is actually 7, which is just going to solve the rest of it for me. I can get a 1 there and an 8 here, and then this row is now a 2, 6 pair, which is solvable. And then 3, 7 pair, which is also solvable. And this is a 3 and a 2 now, and then I need to have an 8 and a 9 in this column. And a 1, 2 pair is here, which is going to also be solvable. 4, 8, 9 triple here, so I'm going to get that. And these two are 5 or 7, which is something else I can solve. And, okay, I need a 9 here and then a 3 here to finish the puzzle. Okay, let's move on to the fourth one, and this time hopefully I'll read the rules better. Okay, well this is just a sandwich Sudoku, but with zipper lines. That looks suspiciously similar, at least in terms of locations of zipper lines, to the other zipper line puzzle. Anyways, for a sandwich, the maximum in between the sandwich can be 35 instead of 45 because 1 and 9 are excluded. Which means that for 33s and 32s, the edge cells have to be 129 or 139. Both of these can't be 9, so okay. Means that, I don't think that tells me anything about, well, this one also can't be a 9, which means I'm going to have a 9 in one of these two, but this one can't be a 9. Anyways, to get back to the reasoning, it's because outside of this, you need to have cells adding up to whatever the difference between 35 and the number is. So, for 33, that's going to be a 2. The only way to do that is with a 2. And for 32, that's going to be 3, and since 1 is already used in the sandwich, the only way to do that is going to be with a 3. Additionally, since I already have a 9 here, one of these two is a 9. This one can't be a 9 because of zipper logic, which means you get this. And at least that's a solid start, to be sure. Now then, down here, neither of these can be 1 or 9. That's just useful to know, and that means that these ones can't be included in the sandwich, so they either have to be 4 and 5 or digits adding up to 4 and 5. Well, actually 4 falls into the same pitfall as 2 and 3 did, where since 1 is used, it's not possible, which means this is a 1 and this is a 9, because I can't have a 9 there. So this is either a 5 or a 2 or a 3. Now, this one... Now, since there's only 2 cells maximum outside, I can't have a cell on the outside here because then I would need to have a 1 or a 9 here, but they're both seen, so this is a 1, and that means that this one is going to be a 2, 3, or 5, depending on whether 9 is here or here. So I can mark that. One of these 2 is a 9, one of these 3 is a 1, but not the central one. because you cannot have multiple cells adding up to 1. Okay. Next thing is next. Where do I want to go next? Let's see. Now then, the smallest numbers on this side are going to be 4 and 5. So if you want to minimize the central digit here, you're going to need a 4 here and a 5 here, which would make a 7 the minimum, and an 8 is the maximum, so this is a 4 or 5, but 5 can't be it, so this has to be a 7, this is here is a 5, and that means I have a 6-8 pair for these two. For this one, the minimum digit possible here is a 4, which would require a 3 here. I can't have a 5 or a 6 here because I would need a 4 or 5 here, and both of them are seen. And I can't have a 7 here because of a 7, or a 9 because of that. So this is either a 4 and 8, this is 3 or 7. Okay. Next thing I will look at. The minimum sum I can have between this and this would be 4, but that's not possible because then these two need to add up to 4 and there isn't enough combinations. So the minimum is now 6 because 5 sees this. But 6 is also not possible because then I need a 5 here and a 2, 4 here, but there's a 2 here which breaks it. So the minimum is 7, and it's either 7 or 8, which makes this a 6 or a 7. If this is 7, since 2 is here, this needs to be a 3, 4 pair, and this is 8, it needs to be a 3, 5 pair. And I can mark the 3s. And then I'm going to also guaranteed have a 7 in one of these two. Next up, the minimum sum I can have here is 4 plus 2. Actually, it's not, because I would need a 1, 5 for these two, and that breaks. So the minimum is 4 plus 3, so 7. And the maximum is 8, but 8 is not possible with a 4. So I'm going to get just a 7, which means this one here is also a 2 or a 5, but 5 is already here, so this is a 2. This is now a 5, which means that 5 constitutes everything that can be outside of this sandwich, so I need to have a 9 here. I have a 9 in one of these two and a 9 in one of these two. Additionally, I have a 1 in one of these three and a 1 in one of these three. Okay, one of these two is going to be a 4 because this 4 sees both of these. I also have a 6-8 pair up here as well. This one here is 6, 7, or 8, and that means I have a 7 in that column and a 7 in this column in one of these two. Okay, this box is, well, this one's just a 2. The rest of these are 3, 7, 6, 8, or 3, 6, 7, 8, whichever way you feel like saying it. I need to have a 2 in one of these. This is going to be a 4, 5, 6, 8 quadruple. And 5 and 6 are both in this column, so this one can't be a 6. Okay. The minimum this pair can sum up to is 6 with 2 and 4. And this is then a 6, 7, or an 8. If I don't have a 2 here at all, the minimum it could sum up to is 9, then with 4 and 5, so there must be a 2 in one of these, which means it's going to be 2 plus 4, 5, or 6. Okay, well, I can't have a 6 because of the 6, 7, 8 triple here, so this is also a 2, 3, 4, 5 quadruple with a 2, 3, or a 4 here. And a 5 in this column, which I'm not going to pencil mark because I already know where the other two 5s are. This here is a 2, 3, 6, 8 quadruple, which means this one's actually the only one that can be a 4 because of the 4 in one of those, which was actually already visible, but yeah. That's going to solve this here, and then I get an 8 out of all of those and a 4 out of this. I'm going to get rid of the 5, 6 pencil marking now. Down here I have a 2, 3, 7, 8 quadruple, and neither of these can be a 2, so this is a 2, mainly because 2 would need 2 1s next to it. This also can't be a 3 because 1 would need to be added to 2, and then there aren't any other digits that are smaller than 3. So I get a 6, 7 pair here, and if it's 7, this is going to be 3, 4, and if it's 8, this is going to be 2, 6. which would mean 2 here and 6 here, or a 3-4 pair in either orientation. So I need to have a 5 in one of these two. This one can't be a 3 because I need to have a 1 or a 2 here, and that breaks. Which means this is a 3, and then I have a 6 and an 8 and a 6, which is going to eliminate the 6 here, which the 6 was used with a 2, so that's going to mean I need to have a 3, 4, which makes this a 7 and that a 6. This is now an 8. This is a 3, 4, 5. This can't be a 5 for multiple reasons. That 4 there, and because 8 can't have 2 4s, adding up to it, that's each other. And that's going to solve this up here. I get a 4, 7 pair here, which means that this either is 5 or 8. Can't be 5 because of that, so it's going to be, or, yeah. So that's an 8 then, with a 7, 4 like that. I get a 5 here. I can get rid of those. Now that I know this is a 7, so this can't be 4 or 6, I'm going to get rid of the pencil marking then because it's a 2, 5 pair. This is also a 3, 5 pair, so I will get rid of the pencil marking for the same reasoning. I have 4, 6 here, and a 4, 6, 8 here, with no 6 there, so I have an 8 here, and a 6 in this column, and a 6 now just here. This row is now a 2, 3 pair, and this row is going to be a 1, 7, 8 pair with 8 in the middle, because it's the largest of the 3. And let's see. One of these two has to be 5 because of the 2, 3, 5 pair triple up here. I now have a 2, 8 pair at the bottom row here. This one has to be 2, and this one has to be 8 because of the 8 up there. And I need a 3 here and a 6 here to solve that box. I will get rid of the pencil marking again, and yeah, I can get rid of this. This one's just a 1 because 4, 5, and 9 all see it, which makes this a 1, 9 pair and a 2, 3 pair for these two. And this one here is going to be a 4, which lets me solve probably the rest of the puzzle in whatever order I feel like solving digits. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So that is the fourth puzzle done. And now let's move on to the last one. Okay. So I was just scanning the rules because I haven't seen this type actually ever, so yeah, it took me for a loop, but these clues essentially indicate numbers that must happen on the diagonal at least as many times. So like this 444 here means you need to have 3 4s. Since this diagonal only crosses 3 boxes, that lets me pretty easily lock in 2 of the 4s. Similar logic can be used for this 5, which will give me that 4. And unfortunately, I don't have a completely circular pattern, but I can get those marked in. And since there's a 5 up here, I can actually solve this, which will give me 2 of the 3 6s. And the third one's here because of this here, which gives me all of the 3s. 2 of the 2s are known. The 9 in this box is in one of these two, and one of these two for that one, and one of these two for this one. I know where 2 of the 3 8s are, and one of them is actually seen by that 8, which lets me solve 8 in both of those. 7s are just solvable. Then I'm going to get a 9 in one of these two, in one of these 3, but I already know there has to be a 9 in one of these 2 because of this, so I can get, there's a 9 in the middle. I get a 9 in one of these 2, and I have a 9 down here, which is going to give me a 9 in one of those 2 for that box. I have a 1, 3, 4, 6 quadruple at the bottom with 4 in one of these 2 because of these 2 4s. I can also actually solve the 9s at the top here, and that means I'm going to have a 1, 3, 6 triple on these ones, and I can't have a 3 in either of those. So I'm going to have a 1. I also actually can't have 6, which means this one's just 6, and that's 3, and then 4 and 1. So I need a 1, 2, and 4 in this box. This one here needs a 3, 5, and 7, which gives me that. I need a 1, 3, and 4 in this row. And I need a 1, 4, 2, and 9. So I'm just going to mark that, and that, and so I'm going to mark all of them because they happen to be 3 or less. In this column here, I need to have 4, 5, and 7. I can get the 4 and just have a 5, 7 pair. with a 6 required in one of these two. This one here is now going to be a 4, 6, 7 triple, which there's 6, 7 here to tell me there's a 4 here. And there's going to be a 4 in one of these two. And this one here actually has to be a 7 because of the 5 and 6 both seeing it, which is going to give me all of that. I need to have a 2, a 5, and a 9, which the 2 is just solvable, and the 5, 9 pair is like that. And I need to have, well, this is going to be a 7, 8 pair, which is solvable, and a 9, 6 pair, which is also solvable. Okay. I need to have 3, 4, and 8 in this column. 8 is here. This is going to be a 3, 4. This is a 1, 2, 3 triple, but can't have a 1, so it has to be a 2 or a 3. Need to have 2, 3, 5, and 9 in this row. So this is a 2, 5, and this one here is 3 or 9. And this box is 1, 3, 8, 9, with this being 1 or 8. And this one here is just a 9, because all the other digits saw it in the row. And this is going to let me solve a good portion of the remainder of the puzzle. This is a 7, I have a 1, 8 pair here that's solvable, and I can get that. Then I need to have a 2 and a 7 in this pair, a 1 and 5, and not a 5, yes, a 5. I've clearly made a mistake somewhere, but in order to find where, I'm going to solve the rest of this. Okay, the mistake was here. It was not. Great. I'll figure it out in a second. I need to have a 6 and an 8. This one has to be... So clearly the issue is with the ordering of 6 and 8 within all of these ones, which, that's going to make the puzzle unsolvable again. Okay, I'm going to have to figure out where this went wrong, because clearly it went wrong somewhere. Oh, okay, so that 5 is actually required to be there, which means I need to have a 5 here and a 1 elsewhere. This is collapsing in on me very quickly in a way I don't like. Because I might have to... Yeah, I'm going to have to jump back even more to figure out where the error is. I think, yeah. I made a faulty assumption somewhere in the solve. I knew it was going too fast for it to be good. I'm just going to restart this, and I'm going to go at it again, and hopefully with less mistakes this time. So I'm just going to start by filling in all of the information for the diagonals. That's just pretty much given for free, because that's going to give me a solid number of the numbers initially marked. Need to have a 9 here, which means I need to have a 9 here, which tells me a 9 here and a 9 here. I have a 2 in one of these two, and up here. Okay, is that all of them done? It looks like it is. So now I'm just back to the standard Sudoku I somehow messed up, which I'm just going to start by pencil marking in the stuff that seems like obvious restrictions, because I'm hesitant to put in too many cells early because I don't want to fall into the same false assumption that I must have made somewhere in my solve last time. So, yeah, I'm just going to play it. I would say I'm playing it more safe, but at the end of the day, I'm really not. I'm just hunting for the most obvious things. One of these two is a 6, and this is an 8, which means one of these two is an 8, and this is a 4, 8 pair. I have 1, 3, and 5 as the remaining ones in this column. And in this row I have 1, 3, 4, 6. Okay. Currently it's feeling like I'm getting the same numbers in the same kind of locations. This is a 3, 6 pair, which means I'm not sure where I made the mistake last time, if it was just a minor mistake or if it was a sequence of just a bunch of wrong digits in there. I don't have a great way of knowing. This one has to be a 7, 8 pair, and that gives me a 9 and a 6 here, and an 8 here, and a 6 here, and a 7 here, and an 8 here, and a 5 here, and then I need a 4 and a 7 pair up here, This is going to be a 3, 4, 7 quadruple with that and that, and a 5 here. Then I need a 1, a 3, and a 4. Okay. And in this column 1, 2, and 3, these two are going to be 4 and 5, which is solvable. Then this is a 2, hang on, I'm just getting digits that are available. 2, 7, 9 triple here, where each of them has 1 removed. This is a 1, 3, 9 triple here, which is going to solve the 1 over here, and this, and all of this jazz. I'm really not sure where the mistake came in last time. Yeah, I don't see where the issue was last time, but okay. Still, even with that error, relatively quick solve, I guess, mainly because a lot of the logic, I guess, might have been from the diagonals. Either way, that's clearly the last puzzle in this gas leak, and I guess I'll see y'all with the next video I post. So, bye.